what's up, everyone? It's your girl V, and welcome to another episode of Mindful Unfoldings. It's a new week, new episode, new guest, and we have my lovely friend here, and I'm gonna let her do the rest. Hey, girl.
Hey, I had like a moment of like nervousness.
Yeah,
I was just
saw.
like, hey.
You can introduce yourself.
Oh,
to
introduce
people.
myself. Okay.
Yes.
Dumelang, guys. My name is Barbara Sakhaito Moahi Jr. Lekharebela ko mahikeng. I don't know how to describe what I do for a living, but let's just say I'm a goal digger, and when there's a goal, that's what I'm gunning towards. So,
Yes, if you guys don't know her,
yeah.
I don't know what you're doing with your lives.
Fix your life.
She's a TikTok sensation.
Sensation.
Instagram sensation.
Sensation.
She was on Miss South Africa.
Africa.
What more do you want, actually?
Nothing.
Welcome to Mindful Unfolding.
Thank you for having me on this famous, well-established podcast.
Exactly. So but before we get into anything, I have icebreakers. But before we get into that, we need to tell people how we know each other, where we met.
Yo, now you're gonna expose my age for
You don't have to say your age.
Okay.
You can disclose that, but you can just tell the story. Or should I go first?
You can go first.
So, Barbara, I'm not going to say her age, but we've known
I mean, you
each
can
other
say my
since-
age.
I'm not going to say your age.
There's nothing wrong with saying my age. I'm just saying that they're gonna know.
No, but I'm just, okay. Barbara, Barbara and I went to the same primary and high school.
Yeah.
Varsity, basically.
Yeah, technically.
So she was always a grade above me. I think 2.
Yeah.
2, 3. I'm not 2.
2, 3, 4,
2,
5.
3.
We don't
2,
know.
3.
I'm a
But
dinosaur.
so I've known her, but we weren't friends in primary. We just
No.
knew each other.
'Cause you
and
were
I was
too
close.
young.
And I was close with the sister.
Really?
Because she was only a year older.
Can
She's
I just
only a
say,
year older
guys,
than me.
everyone was friends with my sister. I don't know one person that I went to school with that was not good friends with my sister.
Seha. Yes, that's true.
It's very true.
And then in high school as well, I remember I got into high school and you were my leader. That's all I remember.
That's what I'm saying. I
So-
knew this, my leader sentence was going to come up. That's why I was like, Yella, if you tell people the real truth, they're going to know. Do you know what it means when you say somebody was your leader? Like, I was your mother.
Basically,
Yo.
you were my mother. And basically, our friendship started when we found out that we stay in the same estate. You were taking a
Yeah.
walk and then I saw you. I'm like, oh, you stay here. And then, I don't know.
I actually know how it happened.
Okay.
So I had your number. I don't know how I had your number, but like I had a lot of people's number in high school. And there was a day where I needed to film a campaign for a telecom company. And I was like, hey, can anyone help me shoot this campaign? And then you were like, I'll help you. Remember? And then we went to Forest Hill.
Was it MTN or Vodacom?
It was a telecommunications brand.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting we're dealing with the brand. Okay, so
Yeah.
you can't disclose. But I remember.
Yes.
Yes, and then we went to Forest Hill and
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And then you took my picture and then you just started taking all my pictures. And then like we'd always go out on like content dates. Like we literally used to dress up, guys, do our makeup,
Go to
drive to
Joburg,
Fenton, take pictures,
change
move
in
to
the
next
bathroom,
come back, take pictures, move to the next restaurant, take pictures. It was just, it's the hustle, but we made it.
But those are the good days. I
We are
liked
here
that.
now.
And
Do
we
you see?
enjoyed doing it and we're here now.
It worked out.
So the growth is imperative. So that's how Barbara and Viola came along.
Yeah.
But icebreakers before we get into the more serious stuff. So the first one I have for you is, if you could have a superpower, but it had to be completely useless, what would it be?
Completely useless.
Yes.
Like useless how?
Like it can't be serious. Like you can't do anything serious.
Like read minds. Is that useless or serious?
That's serious. It's not useless.
Okay, a
'Cause
useless
it's of
superpower.
use, yeah.
To be able to like think of a meal and it appears in front of me.
I always say the same thing, or think of a hairstyle and it just comes to
Well,
my
when I
head.
hairstyle again, when I do just on it.
Yeah.
Because hairstyle I can do it myself. How am I gonna make the dumplings? How am I gonna make the sushi?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Second one, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dinner.
Dinner,
Yo.
once in a lifetime opportunity.
Once in a lifetime opportunity
Table
to have
of 4.
dinner. Table of 4.
3 people.
I feel like I'd have to pick people who match my vibe. So one thing that I think I'm learning now is that just because you look up to people doesn't necessarily mean that they are your people. I don't know if that makes sense. So I think number one would definitely have to be Kiki Palmer. Like I feel like me
Guys
and
are on the
Kiki,
same energy level.
you
Now that
understand
you
what I'm
say it,
saying?
guys are on the same energy level.
Yeah, I think me and Kiki would definitely vibe. And then I can't think of anybody else. Victoria Monet. I think Victoria Monet
an
would be a
interesting
nice
one.
addition. I think she is a hard worker and she knows how to put her head down long enough for the long-term goal. So
Okay.
I think she'll also balance out the the
Yeah.
vibes on the table. Because if Kiki and I are alone on the table, like, we're going to get kicked out of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's better to have somebody
Someone
who's
who's
an
gonna balance
adult
it
who's going to
out.
balance and say, okay, guys, just more, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last person I think would be Tyler, just because she's so authentic and
Superstar.
and she's a superstar.
I mean,
like
come on now.
superstar, black girls, but authentic to
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. For me, I think mine are very obvious. If you don't know this, I don't know, then you're the problem.
I can guess who. KMs.
Actually, no.
No.
I don't think if
You cannot live without
I
her.
I love Cam so much, but I don't think. Nah.
Sure.
If I had to pick 3 people, but this is crucial. Like,
Okay, but
once-
KM's like, if you're watching this, still call
Cool,
Fielwa out for dinner.
please come. But if I were to pick 3 people, it would definitely be Beyonce, Jay-Z. Only because like it's Beyonce and Jay-Z.
How's Habi?
I want to know. Scared of what?
Did you go to Global Citizen?
No, I cried in front of a TV when she came down.
That is why. I
No,
went to Global Citizen.
I remember.
I
you
couldn't
said-
handle the presence of Beyonce.
I think I don't have a choice. Apparently, no, but I think Beyonce, Jay-Z only because Beyonce wanna master her how she separates her
Private life.
private life and social media, because I think we're in that space. I'd like to know how to keep those 2 separate. Like people can know about it,
Yeah, but
and
not have.
access to it like that. And Jay-Z, because he's very smart, he
Yeah.
knows where to invest his money. You know, his money is long, and you always he doesn't drop any music. So what are you doing?
I'm
And then you
screaming.
hear of it, and it's like, oh wow, you're actually smart for doing
Yeah.
that. And then another person would be. There's this lady called Megan Fate. She does like sermons. I love her sermons so much. I feel like I could learn a lot from her, just on like life and how to handle life and all
Yeah.
of these spiritual things that we'll obviously get into
Yeah.
in the episode. But those
Yeah.
are my 3 people.
That's a cool group of 3 people.
Yeah, it is. And then
I also would have chosen Beyonce, but long drag.
yeah. Story for another day. Story for another day.
Literally.
But lastly, if anyone doesn't know, Barbara likes singing. She can actually sing.
Can I?
You actually can. So if you had one karaoke song, which one would it be?
One karaoke song, like one song I could sing for the rest
In
of my
front
life.
of everyone for the rest of your life.
In front of everyone.
Yeah, I mean karaoke is in front of people.
I would never sing in front of people.
Okay.
I only sing to my God.
Okay.
Amen.
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 Okay, so which song was that?
I don't know, hey? Whatever song is on my heart that day, honestly.
You would sing it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Why?
I thought you were gonna say, this is the song.
I can't pick a favorite song. It's the same thing as like people who ask, what's your favorite Beyonce song? What's your favorite Beyonce song?
You can't ask
that question. It's
Yeah.
not a real question. No. I refuse.
Okay. Now that you're comfortable, you're in it. I can see
Just said,
in the vibes
no.
now. Today's episode, navigating new seasons. And we are definitely new seasons. So I thought it's an appropriate conversation to have.
Yeah.
I don't want to have the how was Miss South Africa conversations. I remember I actually asked you, and like, what's the most common thing you speak about when you go on a podcast?
Miss Essay.
Miss Essay,
How's
was
the
it? How are the
experience?
girls?
What are you gonna go back again?
Yeah. So before we are gonna get into the work ethic of you getting there and just work ethic
Yeah.
in general. So you will speak on it a bit. But to start off the topic or the podcast, childhood life lessons. I think we've all been through a lot in our childhood till now.
I think the
And-
schools that we went to already were
And we
enough to
always
give
blame-
us lessons.
And then it was like home and other things as well
Yeah.
as you grow and venture into the world.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, what's one childhood experience that taught you the most about empathy and understanding the perspective of others? Because one thing I've learned around you is like you understand the perspective of
other
others,
people.
but obviously it didn't just come to you. You didn't just
Yeah.
learn that. It's from experience. So what's that for you?
I think when you're a child, there's so many things that you take for granted. And one of the things that I really took for granted growing up as a top achiever, top everything, whatever, is that if people are saying a module is hard, or if someone is saying something is hard, I'm the exception to the rule, because I've always proven that I'm better than that. Like, I'm better than being the average person. And when I got to varsity, okay, we can call it childhood because you're transitioning from childhood to adulthood. But I think transitioning actually from childhood to adulthood is probably the most humbling experience you could ever have. Extremely. But it's also an experience that taught me how to have grace for other people, because then I realized, okay, at 21, these are the things you're navigating. Now it makes sense why my sister at 21 made the decisions that she made. At 23, the other day we were talking, my mom and I, sorry, guys, I like to off-ramp a lot.
No, it's fine.
Somebody has to bopper me. But the other day my mom and I were talking about how at my age, she had 2 children and a husband and all these things to take care of. And I was like, yo, mama, imagine if I had
2 kids, 2 children
and a husband. Can you imagine me right now, Viela, with 2 children and a husband? Guys, like, I really would suffer. I'd have to call my mom every day, like, mama, the child is crying. What now?
Do I do?
Like, please come take it.
Yo, he didn't come home on time. What do I do?
Like, come take it. So I think now you get to understand. I'm like, oh, hectic. Like, these are all the things my mom was trying to understand and navigate when she was raising me. Now I understand why certain things happened the way that they did, because even her, she didn't know any better. And I think for us, because we grew up in the technology era with social media and all these things, we have access to people's stories, we have access to people's mistakes, people's testimonies, so we know the steps that we should and shouldn't take when we're trying to achieve certain goals. And I think nothing will make you more empathetic than acknowledging your faults in your own journey, because then you'll see why people make the decisions they do. Yeah.
So then can you point out one childhood experience or childhood transitioning into adulthood where you faced a failure or adversity, and how did it shape your resilience and determination? Because you're one determined person. Like, when you say you're going to do something,
I have to do it. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I think, I hate this conversation so much, but it's going to be dropping out of engineering. Like, nothing taught me resilience and empathy like realizing that I was in a degree that was not for me, and then having to make the brave decision to walk away from the validation that I had of other people and validate myself in my own ideas, feelings, thoughts, and dreams for my future.
So when you took the decision to drop out of engineering, did you just know that you're going to actually, whatever career path you choose to take, that one will be for you, like in that moment? Or did it take you some time to actually be like, let me think about what I'm going to do next?
Yeah, so I definitely didn't just wake up and like, okay, I know I'm going to drop out, so I'm dropping out right now. Like, I'm someone who thinks and prays through a lot of the big decisions that I make. So it was sitting down. I think I sat down for like a year and a half, just going back and forth and making sure that the next step I take is actually the correct step. And that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of change of plans, your degree, you changed your degree. Everybody, if you don't know that story, you can just go to
somewhere on the internet.
Somewhere on the internet.
It's there.
But I think oftentimes, like, change happens so unexpectedly, like when you're not prepared for it and stuff like that. So this is the part where we will both just share our experiences. Maybe someone who's listening will learn from both of us.
Yeah.
But can you share a specific experience where sudden change of plan led to a positive outcome and personal growth? And I mean, obviously, it's engineering into the degree that you're doing now.
Yeah.
But in terms of personal growth as well, because I know you've told me that it challenged your mental health being in that degree.
Yeah.
So obviously there's growth in that to where you are now. So can you explain that a bit?
I think if we have to really talk about personal growth and where it started, I would take it further back than engineering. I'd take it back to like grade 7, grade 8 when my parents were getting divorced. So just to give you a snapshot, like when my parents were still married, we were living in like this big double-story house. Everyone had their own bedroom. Like life was very snazzy, fancy. And you know this better than anyone. The primary school that we went to was okay, but the high school that we went to had a very it had a very special reputation in the city that we live in.
Yeah.
And everyone would say, if you want to send your kids there, you're basically setting them up for failure. Like any child that goes to that school comes out as a nothing, will be a nothing, and will probably be a drug addict or something of the sort. And so I remember my dad would always say, like, my child is above that school. Like, my child is not going to go to that school. And there was a new school actually up the road that was opening up. It was a private school. And my whole life had been set towards going to that school. So much so that I didn't even apply to that public school that, you know, I am above because, like, who am I? Why would I go to that school?
Yeah.
But then my parents got divorced, and there were different things that happened that meant that we as children didn't live with our parents. So my mom was in one place, my dad was in some other place, and then my grandmother came to live with us and look after us.
Yes.
But now if my grandmother's looking for us and our parents are somewhere we don't know where they are, what happens now? Because my grandmother is just a girl. Like, she's just a girl. She comes from the village. She's here so that child services doesn't take us away. What does it look like now that I must pay this 100,000 Rand school fees for the school I've been accepted to when there's no money to do that? So we had to go to that school and humble ourselves and say, can you please give me space? So literally beginning of the year, my grandmother was like, we're begging you, please give the girl space. And they gave me space, and that was something that was completely out of my control, out of my parents' control even. It's not like they decided that I was going to end up in that position. Life just forced us to move like that. And I remember I was like, I'm going to dedicate my time and energy to getting out of this hole, because I know that if I stay in the school, my life will amount to nothing. And in grade 9, I had an opportunity to go to another private school on a bursary, but they were only going to pay, I think, a partial amount of it. And then the amount that was left over, my parents would have to pay. But if my marks went below 80%, then I would have to pay back every single cent that they ever spent towards me. That was the contract. So my mom was like, I see this opportunity when I understand why you want to go to the school, but we can't risk it. It's not that I don't believe in your abilities, but it's the reality that if something has to happen that again is out of our control, who's going to be stuck with this debt? And it's just high school. So in grade 9, I had to suck it up and stay in that school. And I think it taught me so much, because instead of being depressed, because I was like proper depressed and just upset at everyone for a good 3 months, I had to realize that I can either stay in this position and be upset about the circumstances that are my life, or I can decide to make the best out of the situation that's in front of me right now. And lo and behold, that same hellhole high school that I was in is the same high school that afforded me the opportunity to have teachers that supported me, so that I can teach myself how to code, so I can be a part of the South African robotics team, right? If it wasn't for that high school, I wouldn't have been in Forbes magazine at the age of 17. There's so many different opportunities that opened up simply because I stayed in that school that life kind of forced me to be in. So that was definitely like a personal growth situation, and also taught me a lot of resilience, because out of that lesson and that whole life thing, I learned that life is only what you make it. Like, it's up to you to make the best out of what you have.
Yes. So like you mentioned, like Forbes at 17, robotics. So I hate that we're going back to this engineering thing.
It's not
but
nice,
now it's
but
just
we
happening
have to do it,
because now I have
guys.
questions.
We have to do it.
But then with all of that, what happened? Obviously, there was an expectation. When you said I'm studying engineering, everyone was like, wow. I remember even when my mom asked me, I'm like, no, she's studying engineering. Wow, I mean, in high school, she got a white blazer. That thing is so hard to get. But you were like, I think it was 2 people, but you and someone else were like the first 2 in a while to get those things. So now when you decided to drop engineering, didn't you feel like you were failing the people who are expecting you to be this engineer? From primary now it's like she's studying something that has to do with content creation. It's like the standard somehow has dropped. Didn't you like struggle with that?
I think that's the thought process of the year and a half that I told you about. Like, I had to take that year and a half before making the big decision to say I'm going to drop out. And when I say year and a half, I knew by the end of my first year that I wanted to drop out, but I only dropped out in my 3rd year. And it was because I had to undo my hold of opinions of other people over my life. And I think one of the biggest things that helped me with that was lockdown. Because with lockdown, what we started to see, unfortunately, is that we lost a lot of our peers. Our peers lost a lot of their parents. Our parents lost their parents because, it was something that was out of our control. You just breathe in the wrong direction.
And
You are God, my
over,
sister.
yes.
And I had to sit down with myself and say, okay, if tomorrow I had to wake up dead, lol. If tomorrow I had to wake up dead, would I be happy with the way that I lived my life? Like, would I be satisfied? Because right now I'm pushing this degree so that everyone else can be proud of me. But am I happy with the life that I've lived up until this point? No, I'm not happy with, I didn't live, guys. I didn't get a chance to live. So I had to sit down with my dad and be like, yo, this is it. Like, I didn't get a chance to live, and I want to do something that makes me feel like I lived a life worth living.
Yes.
And my dad was so open and receptive to it. He was like, go do it. Schola sefele. By the age of 30, if things didn't work out the way that you thought they would, you can always go back to school. Yes, fine, it might be humbling. You're 30 now, it's 2030, and you're going to school in 2024. But I'm going to school with my nieces and my nephews. It's going to be a humbling experience, but at least you will live a life with no regrets because you gave what you actually wanted to do your all. And that's what we're doing now. Literally waking up every morning at 4 a.m. so we can be in Johannesburg for school. But then I finish at radio around 11:30 in the evening. That's when I'm driving back home. It's a lot of things that we're doing. Friendships fall apart in the process because now people don't understand why all of a sudden I don't have time for them. There are so many different sacrifices that you make. And for me, it makes sense because I know where I want to see myself. But for other people, it doesn't. And that's why I think the very first thing when it comes to chasing a dream and chasing a goal is to make sure that you separate and divorce yourself from this idea of needing validation from other people, because you're gonna lose it. They're gonna hate you.
Yes. So I'm now, with everything she's saying, I assume, or I actually not assume, I know. I'm acting like I don't know you. I assume and I know that you've always had that confidence in who you are and what you want to do. Like, you've always stood on business from every time that I've known you. It's not easy, but you've always been able to do it. And you're also very vocal about if something challenges you, it challenges you. So I even like that you mentioned that now that you actually chased your dream and started doing something that makes you happy, it made a lot of people feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it changed a lot of situations and friendships. And I think even now, I'm experiencing it more now, but I got to learn, especially we spent a lot of time the past 2 years together.
Yeah.
Because with your journey with Miss South Africa, you had a community of people helping you.
Yeah.
We used to drive to Harties
to
take pictures under
just
a
to
bridge.
take pictures.
So obviously with me, I understood that, okay, I think at that time, for example, and I'm talking about this because we're going to go into chasing your dreams.
Yeah.
But I think at that time, for me, I knew what I wanted to do. You also knew. I've always been like, I want to go on YouTube.
I'm going to do it.
I've been singing the song.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where exactly I wanted to venture in because I didn't want to do the vlogging and the lifestyle things because there was an expectation.
Yeah.
And that expectation is money. And I'm like, I don't have money. And I'm not willing to...
You must fake luxury now.
I must fake luxury and I'm not willing to put myself in a position where now people are going to be like, oh, she's busy with these type of people. That's why she could afford that Louis Vuitton or Gucci bag. Or if I had those... Do you understand what I'm saying? Or if I had if I had a Mr. Price clothes or whatever, it was going to be like, ugh, but she's just...
If you're wearing Mr. Price, it's on a little namos.
It's relatable, but it's also just you know how people are, man, especially when you're trying to be in the influential space. There's a certain standard. Yeah. But if anything taught me, I think at that time, that's when it was more peak for you, you were growing slowly but surely. And then you also set the bar of, you can be literally yourself. You used to post eating mukhodu in the morning. And I used to be like,
no, guys. And my mom literally, it used to make her so angry because she's like, Barbara, you can't be running from Miss South Africa. Give me South Africa.
South Africa's eating mukhodu at 7 o'clock in the morning. Do you understand? But you set the whole standard of you can be who you truly are. You can dress however you can and can afford and still be...
the dress that we actually took a picture in at Hartis, remember we tied it with a piece of wool at the back because it wasn't my dress. It was a dress that we borrowed for the photo shoot and we had to make it work.
But that just speaks on the determination of chasing your dreams without people having that sort of opinion. It took me a long time to understand, but I saw it happen for you, which motivated me to be like, you know what, I should care less. I remember on my birthday, she even mentioned it in her speech. She's like, you just need to care less about what other people are thinking and just do what you have to do. And actually, I did it. After my birthday, I called you. I'm like, you have a camera. Come to my house. We'll sit in front of this flower pot and we'll just talk and tell people I'm starting. And then the competition happened where I won. And then now we're here today.
Yeah.
So when it goes into the transition of now, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
I'm not just Vielwa now. There's people who come on this platform and they watch.
Yes.
There's people who actually come on my social platforms
You're on season
and they
2.
watch. I mean, on
Hello.
season 2, we've worked with like brands before we even came here.
Yeah.
But now it changes your social dynamic and your friends and the status. And I mean, now, when Barbara never used to answer the phone, I'm like, there's no way she's this busy. But now I get it. I'm like, there's no way this girl is this busy. And now I get it. But now, how did you deal with all those friends? Let's just start with friends.
Yeah.
Who didn't understand that you're in your season of chasing right now. You have a goal. And I might not have time for you the way I used to before.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we were going to Saturns, we had time to speak on the phone. Yo, this boy broke my heart. Oh, school is this. Oh, this is happening right now. But now we really don't. Like, we do it afterwards. 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
I'm joking. It hasn't even been 3 years.
It hasn't been 3 years. But like, how did you navigate that? And how did you sort of train your friends to understand that I'm still here, but like, this is happening?
Yo, to be honest, I didn't train my friends. I think...
No, she didn't.
No, I
Just had
didn't.
to.
I didn't train my friends. I got a message. I can't remember. I think it was Mbali who sent the message. And Mbali is a friend of mine that I met in grade 5 in primary school. And we've been friends ever since. And I remember I was posting on close friends because I have this thing of like, I tend to feel guilty. Like, you know how people always talk about mom guilt?
Yes.
Yeah, like I had mom guilt, but for friends. Like I had friend guilt where like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing all of this, I'm pushing all of this stuff. And I don't think people know or understand how busy and like exhausted I actually feel. So what I would do is I'd go on close friends and post every single thing that I'm doing every day because I was trying to constantly prove to everyone that, guys, I'm as busy as I say I am, even when you don't see it. And I remember one day during one of my little, I'm so tired because today this is what happened. And one of my friends was like, listen, your friends will understand.
That's true.
Your friends will understand. And when she said that, like, I think I cried for a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like, she actually was right. And what I came to realize is that the people who were throwing tantrums, like demanding my life and having an entitlement on my time were people that actually were reacting because they were taking from me more than I was receiving from them. So now you feel like you're not getting the thing that you need from me and you're throwing your toys out of the cart. But it's like, it's my turn now. Like, it's my turn to be supported and it's my turn to just be left alone to be able to work. So I'm not really finicky about that. And I think I've kind of reached a point in my life where I'm like, if somebody feels so offended by my inability to pick up the phone because I'm busy shooting something, I guess
it is what it is.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good that you say that because with me, I'm the opposite. I wasn't okay when you would come to me and be like, oh my gosh, you haven't spent, like, you're not paying attention to me or you're not answering the phone, or like, because I mean, at that time, there was a lot happening. You were there, like, front row seat to see, like, from the time I decided to start the podcast to now, there was...
It was burning.
It was bad.
It was burning.
It was bad. And it's like, it's so crazy how it even happens because I remember the day the bad thing happened, it was unexpected and I just called you and it so happened.
I was bathing and she called me. I was like, she's like, hey girl. I said, hey girl, what's up? She goes, can you come to my house? I'm like, okay, let me just get out the water.
And do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then with me, I think when people come to me and tell me that I'm not a good friend because I'm not giving them as much attention, it used to beat me down. It took me a long time to be able to take criticism. I think now I'm open to it because I know the space I'm in and I understand that if it doesn't come from the people that actually care about me and love me, it's going to come from people on the outside, and that would probably hurt me more. But then if you can tell me, Viala, you need to learn how to do X, Y, Z, I know it's coming from a place of where you're just trying to make sure that no one else can have the opportunity to say it. And you, again, with what Mbali said to you is also true. Your friends will understand.
Your friends will understand.
It doesn't matter what you do, where you're going, who you're with, how you got there. Your real friends will understand. I mean, people don't realize, like, the amount of support that I had. I mean, I had you pushing me every single time. When are you starting? You even boosted my confidence.
I gave her a tripod and a mic, guys.
For my birthday.
I said, please.
Like, she's like, please. You even know, like, Vela, if you could just see yourself how we, your friends, see you and just start, I promise you, we'll support you. I mean, you have Karabo coming to every single episode to help me with BTS. She helps me plan the script for the topic that we speak on. If I feel stuck, I'll be like, friend, what do you think I should speak about? What do you think? Like, if I feel like today I'm having a bad day, they always say, like, the real ones always push you to say, you know what, just do what you have to do. More. So literally, the pressure of friendships, I think it lessened after my birthday, after I heard my friends, like my real friends that came out that
people
year.
Who showed up. And
people who showed up say, you just really just need to do it and we'll understand and we'll support you. But also with chasing your dreams, I know it's more of like a faith thing as well. And getting into faith, this was something I wanted to speak to you about, because my faith journey started literally with you. And I've always been vocal about how that's why I'm so grateful for our friendship, because I don't think if it weren't for the time that we became friends and if it weren't...
Like, also, I need my book back.
And you're not going to get it back.
No, I need that book. It's my mother's book.
I'm still using it till this day. Okay,
guys,
no, you understand what she's meaning. But there was a time, was it 2021, 2022? 2022, end 2022. I've spoken about this before, but my best friend had passed away, took his life, right? At that time, we were getting close. So obviously, we were spending so much time together, but you could tell that I wasn't the Viela that you used to. Like, I wasn't okay. And obviously, when you go through a season of depression, when you go through a season of anxiety, at that time, that was the peak level, because I'm a person that holds on to people. And when that happened, it was like, oh, who am I going to hold on to now? Especially because of the relationship that we had. I've known them since childhood, like crèche childhood. So when that happened, I remember Barbara's one person will be driving to Mall of Africa and she won't know what to do, or she'll be panicking about something. She will close her eyes and she'll pray. Or she won't close her eyes, but like she'll literally start praying like in the car. So I knew if I needed spiritual guidance, I knew exactly who to go to.
Not me being a mom for you.
No, don't say it like that. You see, exposing yourself now. But I knew if I needed spiritual guidance, I had to come to you. Not only because I knew your faith was strong, but she's my friend. I knew I wasn't going to be judged. And I mean, I knew that you were going to advise me from a you understood where I was. It's so different when you go to an elderly person, they'll say, I just let it go, they're gone now. I don't want to hear that. I wanted to hear, okay, this is how you should do it. And I remember you gave me a book. She gave me the book called, was it Fervent? Yes, it's like a prayer book. The one I want back. Okay, I'll give it to you back.
Thank you.
But it's a prayer book, and I remember I was fasting. I told you, I'm like, please explain what fasting is and tell me, as a beginner, which one do you think I should start with? And she told me like, every single morning I woke up and I read a chapter, and I like journaling, so I journal what I learned, watch a sermon and stuff like that. So obviously that's one thing that stood out in our friendship. And that made me...
Oh, guys, I'm a good influence. This is so great. Thank you, Buya. Like, carry on.
No, that's one thing that genuinely stood out in our friendship for me, that I needed that in that moment. So I know sometimes faith, now I understand faith is like such a hard thing to navigate. How do you do it? Because I know... Like, sometimes I'm just like, I don't have faith this is going to work. Like, sometimes it's like, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know how to respond to certain things. How do you keep your faith? Because you obviously have transitioned so many times.
At such like every day.
At such a small period.
A
lot has happened. And how do you keep your faith alive? How do you keep your spirit alive? Because it's easy for you to not see the meaning of life when something is not going right. And you know, if this is not going right, it's going downhill from here.
That's such a deep question. Even I hear silence in the room. I think that I'd be lying if I say it's something that I do like myself. And one thing that I always say is like, God has kept me. Like my biggest testimony is that God has kept me. So when my parents were going through everything they were going through, and in grade 9, I was doing all that, like, oh, I'm going to like make the best out of the situation. I didn't know God then. I was not saved. And I think that it's always been like protection, just God's protection. And having seen the fact that when I didn't know God, he was still good enough to protect me. I know that even in seasons where I have no faith and I don't care, because there are just times, guys, where I know I don't have faith. I know I'm not reading my Bible. I don't even care. And I just sit and I'm just like, God, you can see also me, I'm tired. Like, I just leave it. But knowing that the grace of God is sufficient enough to carry you even in your lowest seasons is what has carried me. But also realizing that faith really is a decision that you make. You have to choose that you're going to believe what God says. Because at the end of the day, a Bible is just a Bible. It's just a book full of words. The only power that comes with the Bible is when you believe and choose to put into action everything that you see written in that book. I actually had a situation the other day where I was talking to my boyfriend about something, and he said to me, I don't understand why you would allow yourself to think something like that or say something like that when you know that you're the kind of person who just thinks something and it happens. Because that's like low-key how a lot of the things in my life happen. Like I'll draw up a vision board, I think about it, and it just happens. So I think it's understanding the power that you have in your mind and in your tongue as a believer, and just making sure that in your seasons of low faith, if you're not praying, if you're not reading your Bible, if you're not doing the Christian things, make sure that at the very least, you're going to church. Surround yourself and have friends that believe in the same things that you do. And I think that's why friends are so important. Because in moments where I literally can't bring myself to do it, my friends are the ones praying for me. And when they're down, I'm the one praying for them. So when I speak about that grace that's carrying me through every season, it's not a grace that just randomly located me. It's a grace that is covering me because I have people who are covering me when I can't cover myself.
So also, when you speak of your friends, your friendship group is like variety of people.
Yes, I don't have a friendship group.
You're very you're a disciplined Christian. Like you don't drink. There's certain things that you don't do. You don't go out partying.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's because I'm a Christian.
No, but then obviously on the topic that we're on, obviously it's a choice. You chose not to drink.
Yeah.
You choose not to go partying.
Yes.
But I mean, when you put Christianity in it, all of your friends, I'd like to believe, from the ones that I know, we're all Christians and we all believe in the same God and the Bible and stuff like that. But then obviously there's certain things that we do that typical Christians could say we're contradicting ourselves because the Bible says don't do it.
Yes.
But now for you who doesn't do those things, I think you fall under the category of like Christians that don't do it at all. So when they see other Christians do it, it's like weird. Isn't it difficult for you to have friends like that who are so different from what you're not doing? But like, it's also not like, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying.
Isn't it uncomfortable?
Do you know what, Ne? Let me explain. First of all, disclaimer, guys. My friends are not as crazy as Viela says they are.
No,
These are
I'm not
allegations.
saying that.
Viela, please, eh? These
I
are
fall
serious
under
allegations.
friends. I don't know what
You do,
mean.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, respect yourself, my sister. Okay.
Okay.
For starters, respect yourself. But secondly, I think this is the biggest reason why people feel like they can't be Christian. And this is the biggest reason why people feel like they can't be in God and they can't be children of God, because the standard that God sets is too hard for them to keep.
Yes.
At the end of the day, when the Bible speaks about sin and the 10 commandments, there's no levels to it. So just because you are I don't know what to, I almost said you are a murderer. You are a murderer. Palesa is I'm trying to think of like all the 10 commandments. I don't even know them. A thief. Palesa is a thief. You know, Palesa again. Okay, fine. Just because you guys are doing one of the 10 commandments each and yours looks worse than mine because all I do is tell you about how my sister yesterday was not washing her underwear. And now we're gossiping about that. It's the same thing that you're doing. So understanding that sin doesn't have levels. We're all sinners at the end of the day. So just because yours looks outside and mine is an inside thing doesn't make me better.
But you
I don't
know
know if
why
that
I
makes
ask that
sense.
question? I always ask myself, because I've been in positions where I'm around people who don't believe in God, afterlife. It doesn't make them like bad people.
Yes.
But for me, sometimes it's so uncomfortable to be in the presence of someone like that. Like, it's not even in a bad way.
Yes.
That's why I'm asking, because you have different friends who believe in
Yeah.
different things. So for me, like, if I'm around, I remember this one time, it's not even a friend, but like we were around each other for maybe like a week or so. And they were like adamant about not believing in the Bible and God. And it's like almost as if they force it onto you.
Yeah.
So haven't you, like, that's why I asked, because it's like, haven't you ever felt like maybe to bond with your friends? Because some of our friends, we bond by going out for drinks
Yes.
or going out to a party.
Yeah.
It made you, didn't you feel left out? Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Or didn't it make you a bit uncomfortable that you did this and you're like, Ish, why are you doing this? But obviously, you obviously more level-headed and reasonable enough to understand the whole principle of it. That's
Yeah.
why I asked, because I've been in a position like that where it's like, you're not a bad person. I'm not saying God hates you. It's just uncomfortable to be in that space because you projecting your beliefs onto me.
Yeah.
And haven't you felt like the pressure of maybe, okay, I know that you don't, but maybe once you have, like, having to get the pressure of like, yo, maybe also me, I must go out.
Maybe also mean nothing. Maybe also mean nothing. And I think it's sorry, my brain just literally went blank.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so crazy. But I think it goes back to the conversation we were having in the beginning about empathy for other people, but also respect. Because what I found is, by virtue of the fact that I have respect for people and their beliefs and however they choose to live their lives, people naturally respect me and my beliefs and how I choose to live my life. And very few times have I ever had to walk into a room and say, guys, I'm Christian. Please don't do these things around me.
Yes.
I literally walk into a room and I remember there was this one guy, we're having a conversation, we're chilling, like it's just a hangout, it's vibes. And he starts swearing, but every time he swears, he apologizes to me. There are other people on the table, but you're apologizing to me for swearing. Not once did I mention God, not once did I mention the Bible, but I think the way that you carry yourself communicates to other people how they should act around you. So naturally, people will ask for permission to smoke when they're next to me. People ask for permission to drink when they're next to me. And at the end of I'm just like, you guys are adults. Hey, do what you want with your life. But I think respecting people will have people respect you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when did you know for you that God is real? And don't go back to what we already spoke about, because that was more of like what he helped you through.
Yeah.
What was your moment? And I'll also answer, but I think you should go first. Like, what was your moment when you knew that God is real? Like, now I can't really doubt it. Like, God is real.
There was a situation in high school where we had a family member that wasn't well. And this person ended up like going to the doctor. We didn't we didn't see that person as a family for a really long time. And I remember there was one time the doctor had called a family meeting. So all the relatives of this person had to come to the doctor's place, and the doctor basically said, it's a wrap. Like, this person is finished. There is nothing that we can do for them. They will never recover, and they're going to be in this sick state for the rest of their life, to the point that we suggest that they be sent to a certain facility so that they have people around them 24/7 that can care for their condition. But this person will never go back to where they live. And I remember I went back to Res because I was still studying. Yeah, it was actually in varsity. Sorry. I was still studying at the time. And I had this whiteboard in front of my desk that I used for like all the engineering things that were holding me hostage. And I wiped everything off and I drew a picture of like the cross. It wasn't even like a picture. It was just 2 lines. A cross. And I wrote everything that was contrary to what the doctor had said, that God said in his word about this person. And I basically prayed. I think I tried to pray every day. And I like to think I prayed every day, but I think it was probably like 3 days. After 3 days, I was tired. Yeah, but the stuff stayed on my like in front of the board that's in front of my desk where I sit every day, I eat, I do everything. And I think it was like a month later or so, that person was completely healed. And if you go now to where that person is and look at their life, you will see that this person is a normal person. You'd never say that they were ever sick or anything was ever wrong with them. And I think it was in that moment that I saw the power of actually believing every single word that God says, and the power of really writing things down and speaking things with your mouth, which is things that, I've applied ever since then. Like I do a vision board and then I say with my mouth, guys, I'm going to do Miss Essay this year. And then what happens? I do Miss Essay. Guys, I'm going to work with Nivea. And then what happens? I'm going to work with Nivea. And I think even with Nivea, I didn't actually say it with my mouth. It was just something that I had always thought I wanted to do, which goes back to what my boyfriend said, that if you know that you're made in the image of God and you've seen it countless times, that every time you even think something, God makes it happen, why would you allow yourself to have careless thoughts? Yeah.
That's powerful. Well, then I think for me, when I knew God was real, was a specific moment that happened end of last year. I was with you. That day changed a lot for me. That day changed a lot.
So I might always say,
no, she was there.
Yeah.
No, she was there that day. But then I knew God was real when I was doing everything and nothing happened. And when I was doing nothing and everything happened. And to give you more context on what I'm saying is every time something, even in like my journey of practicing faith every single day and believing and living life by the word, it's like every time when something bad happened, I always used to like, okay, cool, go down on your knees, pray. I always used to try to figure it out. But when I was doing all of those things, in as much as I'm telling myself that I'm praying and communicating with God, it's like I was still doing them off of my own strength. And I think because of that, I went into so many doors, was with the wrong people, that led, it was so much
wrong people.
But that led to so much distraction, basically.
Yeah.
And in as much as I was praying and I was asking God to help me, it's like it was off of my own strength. Therefore, nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see a change. In fact, it was getting worse. You would think it was getting better, but it was getting worse. And then I'll get to a point where I was actually giving up and like, I'm actually tired. Like I'm tired of crying myself to sleep. I'm tired of always praying about the same thing and not seeing a change. Like, are you not listening to me? Like, what is happening? But exactly that moment when I was like, I was done. Literally the next day, maybe I'll get a phone call. Or maybe it was like, if a pure example, when we shot my first clip for, hi guys, starting a YouTube channel.
And then the light broke.
And then the light broke. The light that we used broke. And then I remember it took me a while to get into the first official episode. But also, for me, at that point, I remember I was like, oh, what did I get myself into? I don't have a mic. I don't have a camera. I'm definitely not doing this on my phone because I want people to appreciate the quality. I mean, I won't watch someone who recorded something off of their phone. I can see it's like the quality is horrible. So I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I was literally like, you know what? It's okay. I can delete the video, delete my existence on YouTube. Who's going to care? That's what I said. Literally, the following day, I saw the competition to go to that studio, and I was like, let me enter. I wrote my answer as to why they should pick me. I didn't think they were going to pick me because I read everyone else's answer.
Yeah.
But I just did it. And literally, I think it was 2 weeks later, I see the studio tagged you in the post, and I won. And I'm like, okay. So the minute I literally wanted to give up on myself, that's when God pulled through. And that's when I knew that, okay, I think this is actually my purpose and what I was meant to do.
Yes.
So every time that I was on the verge of giving up, that's when God was like, where are you going?
You even give
Do you
up
know
what?
who I am?
Come back.
Like, come back. But that's when I knew God was real. And I think that people take that for granted because it's like every time you pray for something, you want it to happen now. And that's what I also understand now. Every time you pray for something, you want it to happen like
now.
in this moment now. And if it doesn't do it now, it's like, oh my gosh, he doesn't listen to me. Maybe I listen. Maybe I'm not meant to do it. But it's like, it's just not the right time.
Yeah.
I believe now, if I had started my YouTube channel back then, I probably would have did that vlogging thing just because I wanted to fit in.
Yes.
I'm not here because I want people to know me. I'm here because I said the purpose of me starting this channel was for me to have a space to speak to people, to learn more about certain things that I myself still don't understand till this day.
Yeah.
Like even the conversations that we have now, we have them all the time, but it's like people can learn so much from hearing two people speak about how they were able to actually overcome their fears and chase their dreams, because I was one person that had to overcome the fear.
Hey,
who had
you
to
had to overcome,
what
my
people
sister.
were thinking about me.
Yeah.
But you understand, I'm not doing it for people to now like me and be like, oh, no, I don't care about
You can come
that.
sit at my table,
You can come
babes.
sit at my no, like I care about my mental health because I know what it has done to me.
Yeah.
And I care about how I protect my space now because now I understand the value of friendship and the value of believing in God and having faith. Faith that in everything that you do, it will work out.
Yeah.
No matter how long it takes you.
Yeah.
No matter how challenging it is, it doesn't matter who you date, what they do to you. I have faith that when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. And I feel like that's when I knew that God was real. And
Yeah.
it's such a weird thing.
It is wild, but I think it's very similar to what I was saying to you about when my faith is low. I don't necessarily do much to get back up to where I need to be with God. And I think it just speaks to the fact that a lot of the times, especially for ambitious girls like us,
Yes.
it's like you want to work hard. So you start fasting, you pray, and you're doing all these things because you're working hard to earn love and forgiveness and all these different things from God. But that's not how God operates. God is a God who loves you just because you are.
Yes.
And so I think the moment that you stop doing things and you start just being Vuyelwa is the moment that you give God the space to be God. Because for as long as you're trying to be God in your life, there's no space for God to God. Yeah.
And even when you say that, in the beginning when I was like the three people at the table dinner and I was like Megan Faith, I remember watching one of her sermons in the time where I had your book and I was
The one you still have.
in the time where I have that book that I have, yes. That one. I remember watching her sermon and she was like, when are you going to understand that God actually died for you? Like, when are you going to understand that this person doesn't care if me and you fight today and yes, I apologize, but like, he doesn't see me as a person that fought with Barbara.
Yeah.
He still sees me as me. Like he knew me before I even knew myself. So even now that I understand the word and every day, like I pray, I journal, I'm not doing it just to be obedient or to please God.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it for my own peace. Because now when I now understand that the more I practice faith, the more my life becomes peaceful. The minute that pivot happened for me where I knew that, okay, now I'm faith-led. Like now I'm God-led. That's when things started opening up. That's when doors started opening up. Like I'm here today.
Love that for you.
And it just opened. That's when I got my first healthy relationship in a long time.
Please don't kill me.
Do you understand? But also that's when I knew who my
Your
friends...
enemies are watching for your love. Be careful.
But it's the truth. I'm just saying, not to throw shade, guys. I'm sorry. But you understand what I mean? Just to emphasize on that thing. Like, that's when also I felt more comfortable actually being alone without actually being alone. That's when I knew who my friends were. Like, now I don't care. Like, now it's just like I don't really care about what anyone else thinks about me because the people around me and my parents and my friends and my partner and mostly God knows me and my heart. And I think one prayer that I always say, if I don't have the words to say it, like, please hear my heart. You know that saying. So I think when we speak on faith and when we knew God, like you said, people always think there's an expectation.
Yes.
To be a Christian, there's an expectation, and it's like there's not. You just need to come as you are.
We're all the same.
We're all the same in God's eyes. When you get to heaven, there's not going to be you're an engineering student, you're a content creator, you're a lawyer, you had 500,000 worth of debts. Like that. When you die, you leave all of those things behind.
Yeah.
But it's the relationship that you have with God and to yourself, and the peace that comes with it.
Yeah.
And I think with the whole everything that we spoke about, it goes back to navigating new seasons. I think most seasons I probably would overcome better if I knew God more. I think it's a lesson learned, but it's so unfortunate that sometimes you have to go through the most painful things to realize that you can't do them alone.
Because I lose.
Like sometimes you really need to go through the most painful things. Like there's certain things, I'm sure you know them, even that I didn't have to go through. Because first of all, I'm young. I didn't have to experience certain things that I went through. But it's also just proof to say God has placed certain people in my life at that time to overcome certain challenges, and that goes back to what you were saying, people praying for you when you can't even pray for yourself.
And
like,
not all challenges are bad. Like all challenges have a purpose. As much as it wasn't fun, it wasn't great. I'm not saying God orders destruction on your life, but I'm saying even when there is destruction, he's able to work it out for your good.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing with navigating new seasons. I think that's why I wanted us to speak on them, for people to see that we're completely, I mean, in our friendship, I remember someone actually asked me and they're like, oh my gosh, your friend's a barber. Don't you feel any pressure? And I'm like, huh?
Pressure to do what?
Pressure to do what? If anything, being around a friend who's equally as ambitious as you. I mean, obviously for me, maybe it took me more time to realize my own potential. But if anything, it pushes you to actually take your life more seriously.
Yeah.
Not because you're in competition, not because I'm trying to be better than you, but because actually it motivates me seeing it work out for my friend. Therefore, I know it can also work out for me. However long it takes, as long as I'm taking those steps.
Yeah.
Even like with your Miss South Africa journey, it's like people always think, oh, weren't you like, oh my gosh, she's going to forget about. I'm like, I don't even think about those things. All I cared about at that time was to you to actually achieve a dream. Because as a friend, that's what I wanted to see happen for you. And that goes back to saying the type of friends that you have around you.
Yeah.
Like,
actually, you know Rendani?
yes.
Rendani used to say, if your friends are upset because you're so busy, it's because they have nothing to do.
They have nothing to do.
They're just chilling.
But
So I think it's very easy to feel intimidated by your friend's success when you have nothing that you're going after yourself. Like if you don't see yourself and you don't see what you carry, of course you're going to feel insignificant because you think what you have is insignificant.
But then would be wrong to say, like, don't be afraid to ask the questions, though? Because I mean, I used to come to you and be like, how did you start a YouTube channel? Like, what do you do? How do you do it? How did you...
But that's because you didn't feel insignificant. That's what I'm saying. If you didn't see yourself as someone who was able to even have a channel, you wouldn't have asked those questions. You'd have just sat there and sulked. Because I'm not telling you. How must I read your mind? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
That's true. But yeah, but it goes to say the people around you.
Yeah.
And I feel like if anything, it has also taught me it's so important to pick the right people. And people make it sound like it's easy, like you never know who the wrong people are, but it's so important
Because everyone has good intentions.
Exactly. Like it's so important to pick the right people. Just in order for you to even be able to chase your dreams, you need the support. And for a lot of people, actually, the parent, I don't know if you've seen it, the parent episode that I had an episode and a parent was sitting here and we're speaking about so many things. When I say I still get emotional about it, I'm not going to cry on camera. I'm not going to do that. But it makes me emotional. I can feel my tears like boiling up. It's so crazy how it literally takes one episode, one perspective, just to see things change. Literally now I'm running on like 100 and probably almost 200K views on that one clip where she speaks about depression and how she as a parent had to deal with it and opening up her heart to mental health issues. And it's like that one video has literally motivated me even more to continue pushing and navigating this new season in my life and being in the public eye, because I was always worried about what people are going to say, like, is she even pretty, is she this, is that? But it's like I don't care about that anymore. So it's like the influence that you have, like now it's changed so many things, because now like people are now emailing me saying, oh my gosh, thank you, now I'm watching all your episodes. And it's like when I started back then, I didn't even know what I was saying. There was actually no one, there was so much distraction, but I just started, but now I'm here. So that's my testimony, actually.
Amen.
That is my testimony. And before we end, I just want to know, in which season are you in now in your life? And I'll also answer.
And what season?
Like, what season are you in?
What season am I in? I mean, I'm in my gold digger season. Not gold. Goal. Goal digger. I'm in my gold digger season. But I think I'm very okay with being hated.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're okay with being hated?
Yes. I'm in my, it's okay.
Okay.
It's fine. Like, it's okay. I realize that as much as, yes, we are all for supporting our friends' dreams and supporting the people around us, I also realize that there are people who will take advantage of you in that process. And I think right now, I really am just trying to be very intentional about how I spend my energy, because if I notice something weird is going on the side, there's no need for me to start a drama about it. It's okay. I can just walk away. That's fine. And if you hate me, that's also fine.
Okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
I think I'm in the season of preparation.
What are you preparing for? Spicy.
No, I think I'm in a season of preparation. I think a lot of things for me now are falling into place. I know it might not make
Actually, me too. Yeah.
we are in a season of preparation. But I feel like a lot of things are falling into place.
Yes.
I'm now seeing the path that God has paved for me. Not even only God, but that I'm paving for myself. That I'm like as time continues.
Thank you, because Modimo haberek
Aliwan, exactly.
Thank you.
Suddenly, takes two to tango. That's what they
Period.
say. But I think I'm definitely in a season of preparation. I think more than anything now I understand my purpose. I'm standing in it. I can feel it.
Business.
Now, like you said, I actually don't care what you think at this point because I know what I'm capable of.
You know what you're doing.
I know
and
what
you
I'm
know
doing.
Where you're going.
I know my vision.
Exactly.
I know the impact it may have. It might not be 300K people, but the little people that you have, I know the impact of
because
it.
if all those people in this garage, they're not gonna fit. Do you know that?
Yeah,
those little people,
they won't fit,
not
in
the studio.
Yes, exactly. But that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like I'm in a season of preparation, and I don't know what the next 6 months has in hold for me, but I know it's going to be bigger than me.
Amen.
Literally, it's going to be bigger than me. And I think in that season of preparation, I'm understanding that whoever wants to journey along will journey along, and they will do it the right way. And
I'm so
they'll
proud of
be
you.
intentional
Actually,
about.
like I'm only clocking it now. I'm like, nah. Actually, Viela, you have come a long way, my dear. You have grown. You have grown.
Since the 9th of July.
Siyabonga.
I've grown.
Siyabonga.
Yes, but I think I'm in that season. I'm in a season of preparation and a season of understanding that whoever's gonna come is gonna come. Whoever wants to go. It's not my problem. And I think also it goes back.
Yeah, it's not with a bad air.
It's with the positive air, and it's also just that thing. It also comes in with your faith, and with faith in knowing that whatever, I don't know, like. I know that God now is intentional about the people he's bringing to me because he knows what I've been through with the ones that just came. And I'm not saying they didn't come with intention, lessons learned, whatever. But now more I have faith that whoever is coming in here is for a reason.
Yes.
And whether it's for a season, I'm grateful for it.
I was going to say.
Yeah, whether it's for a season, I'm grateful for it. But right now, in my season of preparation, I'm appreciating where I am because I know that by the time I'm in July, something that change will have happened. And it's gonna cry.
It's going
to.
Don't
say we didn't tell you. It's
How?
Going to cry. So that's the season that I'm in, and I'm just grateful, man.
Love that.
Very grateful.
Love that.
Thanks very much. Thank you so much for coming, my dear.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was so nice to have you.
It's not every day we get invited to fancy podcasts, but
please, please do follow Barbara on social media platforms. Give them your handle.
Mostly everything. Instagram, guys. Yo, please, hey, we're trying to pay bills right now. You know, we're trying to move on in life and move out. You understand?
Home, yes.
Yeah. So follow me on Instagram at Baxbara. It's actually Barbara. You know that.
Yes, but you know that.
Okay, it is. It's at Barbara, but it's spelled BAXBARA. Yes, I promise you beauty.
She does.
That's
beauty every single day. Don't worry. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
Yeah, if you want, you can look at the other ones, but mostly just Instagram.
Okay, and then you can follow me at Viola Nkambule, and you can follow the studios at Busang Studios, both on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment, share, do everything that you've been doing.
Do the right thing.
And we appreciate it so much.
And tell us what season you're in. Actually,
yes, in the comments, please. We love interaction.
We like things.
Interacting with people.
Let us know.
Yes, tell us which season that you're in. And if you have any questions, maybe I will tell you when someone is asking you a question and you must answer. I won't answer for her. If you want to know something, if you're curious, I don't know. But yes, please interact with us on TikTok as well, because that's where the most interaction happens, actually. But also here on YouTube. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Yes.